हेलो और स्वागत है चैनल पर। आज की वीडियो में हम इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स ईवीज के की कंपोनेंट्स को सिंप्लीफाई करेंगे। अगर आप कभी सोचते हैं कि एक ईवी कैसे काम करती है और उसके पार्ट्स कैसे मिलकर एक स्मूथ और सस्टेनेबल राइड देते हैं, तो आप बिल्कुल सही जगह पर हैं। चलिए शुरू करते हैं। So first up, we got to talk about the battery pack. This is the beating heart of any electric vehicle. You know how your petrol or diesel car has a fuel tank? Well, the battery pack is the EV equivalent. It stores the electricity that powers the motor and makes the entire car move. Now, there are different types of batteries used in EVs, but the most common one you'll come across is the lithium-ion battery. You know, the same tech that powers your smartphones and laptops. They're popular because they pack a lot of energy in a relatively small package. That's high energy density for you techies. Plus, they have a pretty decent lifespan, meaning you won't be replacing them every couple of years, but the tech world never sleeps, right? There's always something new on the horizon. And in the EV battery world, that something is solid-state batteries. These are super interesting because they promise even higher energy density, think longer range, and even faster charging times. Imagine juicing up your EV in the time it takes to grab a cup of coffee. Now, when you're looking at EV battery packs, the key spec to keep in mind is capacity, measured in kilowatt hours or kWh. It's basically a measure of how much juice the battery can hold. The higher the kWh, the longer the range. Think of it like the size of your car's fuel tank. A larger tank means you can go farther before needing to refuel. Now, of course, the actual range you get depends on a bunch of factors like driving style, terrain, and even the weather. But as a general rule of thumb, a 40 kWh battery pack can get you somewhere between 200 to 300 kilometers on a single charge. Next up, let's talk about the electric motor, the powerhouse that transforms all that electrical energy stored in the battery pack into mechanical energy, which actually turns the wheels and gets you moving. Think of it as the engine of the EV, but way cooler and more efficient. Now, just like with batteries, there are a couple of different types of electric motors used in EVs. The most common ones you'll encounter are AC motors, which stands for alternating current. These are known for being super efficient and reliable, which is what you want in an EV. Then there are DC motors, which stand for direct current. These are a bit of an older technology, but they still have their place in some EV applications. Now, the electric motor plays a huge role in determining the overall driving experience of an EV. It affects everything from acceleration, how quickly you can go from 0 to 60 to top speed, and even energy efficiency. A more powerful motor will obviously give you quicker acceleration and potentially a higher top speed, but it might also drain the battery a bit faster. So, it's all about finding that sweet spot between performance and efficiency. All right, we've talked about the battery and the motor, but there's another crucial component in the EV powertrain that often gets overlooked: the inverter. You see, the battery stores electricity in direct current or DC, but the electric motor runs on alternating current or AC. That's where the inverter steps in. It acts as the bridge between the two, converting the DC power from the battery into AC power for the motor. Think of it as a translator, making sure everyone speaks the same language, but the inverter's job doesn't end there. It also plays a key role in regenerative braking, which is one of the coolest features of EVs. When you hit the brakes in an EV, the electric motor actually reverses its role and acts as a generator, converting the kinetic energy from the spinning wheels back into electrical energy, which is then used to recharge the battery. And guess what manages that entire process? You got it, the inverter. It converts the AC power generated by the motor back into DC power that the battery can store. Pretty neat, right? Now let's talk about the control system, the brains behind the entire EV operation. This is where things get really interesting. The controller is like the conductor of an orchestra, making sure everything works together in perfect harmony. It manages the flow of electricity between the battery, the inverter, and the motor, ensuring that the right amount of power is delivered at the right time. Think of it as the control center of the EV, constantly monitoring and adjusting to different driving conditions. When you press the accelerator pedal, the controller interprets your input and signals the motor to draw more power from the battery, propelling the car forward. When you ease off the accelerator or apply the brakes, the controller reduces the power flow to the motor and manages the regenerative braking process. But it's not just about raw power delivery. The controller also plays a crucial role in optimizing energy efficiency. It constantly monitors factors like vehicle speed, battery charge level, and even driving style to determine the most efficient way to utilize the available power. So the next time you're cruising along in an EV, enjoying that smooth and silent ride, remember the controller working diligently behind the scenes, making it all possible. Finally, let's talk about charging systems, because no matter how awesome your EV is, it's not going anywhere without a full battery. There are two main types of EV charging: AC charging and DC fast charging. AC charging is what you'll typically find at home or in offices. It's slower than DC fast charging, but it's also more widely available and generally more affordable to install. Depending on the size of your battery and the power output of your charger, AC charging can take anywhere from 6 to 12 hours to fully charge an EV. DC fast charging, on the other hand, is the speed demon of the EV charging world. You'll typically find these at dedicated charging stations, and they can juice up your EV's battery up to 80% in as little as 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the charging station's power output and your car's maximum charging rate. Now, regardless of whether you're using AC or DC charging, the charging system plays a critical role in ensuring that the power flows safely and efficiently from the grid to your EV's battery. It also incorporates thermal management systems to prevent overheating during charging because nobody wants a hot battery. तो ये था एक क्विक ओवरव्यू EVs की कंपोनेंट्स का। बैटरी पैक जो एनर्जी स्टोर करता है से लेकर इलेक्ट्रिक मोटर जो व्हील्स को पावर देता है, हर पार्ट का अपना एक विटल रोल होता है जो EVs को एफिशिएंट और इको फ्रेंडली बनाता है। अगर आपको ये एक्सप्लेनेशन हेल्पफुल लगी हो तो लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब करें चैनल नेम के लिए और ऐसी ही सिंप्लीफाइड गाइड्स के लिए कनेक्टेड रहें। कमेंट्स में बताइए कि अगले टॉपिक पर आप क्या देखना चाहें। तब तक ड्राइव सेफ और क्यूरियस बने रहिए।